Hi everybody, welcome back. Tenerife, the Canary Islands are behind us. Madeira is now behind us, all going well. Weather forecast is looking good for the rest of the journey to Portimao Portugal. Sea state is fairly good, everything is good, so I hope you enjoy. Good morning. So it's Saturday morning, just past, well, I'm well past Madeira. But something I hadn't counted on was there was a big wind shadow to the east of the islands, and I got becalmed in there, and there were still big seas, and so it was an uncomfortable night. I moved bed a few times. I was out there. I tried that one, I tried this one. I was back in my own bed, hanging on with your knees trying to sleep. So it's still quite, there's still quite a big swell. But I'm out of the shadow of the shelter of the islands anyway. It stretched out 60 nautical miles, believe it or not, so always learning. So if I was doing that again, I'd have gone the far side of the island, would have been quicker, or if I had gone the west side, or else gone a good bit more east. So conditions are better today. The swell is down, and we're due to get 20 knots of wind soon. That will push me a lot of the way to Portugal, which is good. So strong wind behind you was great. 18-20 knots in the quarter, beautiful. And the water, such a beautiful colour. Sailing along at about 5.5, 6 knots. 5, I would say we're averaging. That'll pick up soon though, if the wind is forecast as it is to come from west-southwest, I think 20 knots, so that'll liven things up a bit. Aries just working away all the time. I oiled it yesterday, now I'll give it a drop of oil again today. Steering working perfectly, thank God. So sailing along at a course of 20 degrees. I veered off a bit because the sails were just banging around, and I hate that. I hate wearing out sails in the rig unnecessarily, so I went off 10 degrees, or 15 actually, and it's much more comfortable. I'm up on deck at the moment because there's a big ship coming, and we're on it looks like our paths are going to cross pretty closely, so I said I'd get an eyeball on him. I don't see him yet. The swell is down. It never looks rough on a video anyway. I always noticed that. But there was a bad swell when I was inside in the shelter of Madeira, and no wind, so I had a bad night last night rolling around, but it's much better today. Way better. It's a beautiful day actually. It's just 27 degrees. They're long big swells, so they're nice. They don't knock you about the place, you just lift up gently and over them. There's one now behind us. So beautiful. An absolute pleasure to be here today. So let's keep an eye for this ship. So 17, 18, 19, 20, kind of that, around that wind strength, which is fine. That's a nice comfortable wind speed to be in, especially when it's favourable. So here's the ship. He's called, I wrote it down, Spar Aries. I keep an eye on their heading and their speed, but I'd say I'll be across before him. I'd say I'll get up there across by the time he gets there. But it's always good to see them visually with your eyes. I always prefer to put my head up and see the ship and see exactly where he is and exactly what's going on. It's one thing to look at the screen, but to to see the ship is obviously much better, and you can decide then you're gonna attack and go behind it, which is normally the what I would do and the safest thing to do. Yes, I think I can relax. I've definitely got ahead of him. Well, that's good. So it's all good. He changed course actually and slipped behind me. Where is he? There. He's heading for Hawaii. I thought I was on a bit of a journey. Hawaii, how lovely. Must be a nice job. Catty bought me these solar lights. And I hang them out during the day, and in the evening time then you have lovely light from them. You can hang them up and very sunny. Hang them up and they're not big light, but there's a lovely glow off them in the cabin. And so kind of lazy this evening. So normally I cook something nice. Tonight, well, it's not bad. And I don't know if you can see it. It's like a balancing act. It's pasta with tomatoes, garlic, a can of spam. Yeah, it's not bad actually. The good thing about sailing on your own is you can eat as much garlic as you want. So everything on the boat is a balancing act. Like you're holding on with your legs while you're cooking, and you're trying to hold things with your elbow. And normally I open up this for the heat, but it's a bit dodgy to do that this evening. You get a wave in there very quickly, which would put salt in your dinner for you. Beautiful though. It's lovely to look out while I'm cooking. So anyway, so that's my dinner for this evening. I got a nice wind shift a while ago, which allowed me point more towards Portugal. Still doing 7 knots, which is super, which is really, really good. It's a beautiful evening. So as soon as I big swells. As soon as I finish my dinner, I'm gonna maybe plot a new course, and I'm gonna download. I can download the weather every morning at 8, a new one, and every evening at 8. So I can have a look and see what's my best route now with this new wind shift. I was trying to get as far north as I could, or northeast, but definitely north in case the wind goes back to its usual northerly, that I wouldn't be beaten into it. I'd have a reach, or a broad reach, you know. So there's always something to be doing, always something. People wonder how I keep busy. You're never idle, bar a nap. I have to nap because I was up a lot last night. So now, din-dins. So there's Catty's solar lights now, aren't they lovely? They give a lovely light glow in the cabin, and they last all night. They'll be bright now until it gets light again, and then I put them back out. Free power. Even though I have solar power and LED, I still light candles. I showed you the gimbal candle that I have over there. That's a beautiful, they just give a lovely warm feeling in the cabin. Myself and my brothers and my sister Helen, we all grew up sailing with my dad and my mum, and there was no such thing as, you know, LEDs or lights. There was candles. We even had a summer house that had no electricity at all, or running water. So I don't know, I love candles, and I just lit that one now to wash the dishes, and I mean it's a perfect light, you know. And I have a huge battery bank, but as I said to you in a previous video, do whatever makes you happy, but you just have to be extra careful with the candles, you know. Like as soon as I'm not using them, they're quenched, you know. But it just makes a lovely homely feel to what I'm doing. I forgot to make dessert. I forget if I told you that, I got a lovely wind shift earlier today that gave us a great angle for the corner of Portugal. So I'm domesticated as well. I can wash dishes, and I tend to let them build up sometimes. And I hate when they're rattling around in the sink. Yeah, isn't that lovely? I just realised as well that tomorrow is Halloween. I'll have to do something cool tomorrow night. Hopefully, I've loads of sweets, but hopefully there's no one knocking. 18 to 20 knots of wind today, in our favour, thankfully. So we got a nice swell on our quarter and the wind on our quarter, and we're making a good course for Portugal. Well, we're aiming for Lisbon, but I'm hoping the wind will go more westerly or even slightly north of west, and we can lay a course then for Portimao, which would be super. So it was raining heavily here this morning and very wintry. Back even to winter clothes. I have a winter hat on and definitely sailing north. But it's cleared up now and the water's blue again. I'll miss blue water. It's gorgeous. I could look at it all day. So I have a few jobs to carry out today. One is to adjust the, just make a slight adjustment on my wind jenny. I'm doing that now. As always, maintenance, always jobs to be done. But thankfully the weather's the forecast is accurate. Sometimes it's wrong, but predict wind I find very good. It's bang on today. Wind direction, wind strength, and the swell is down. There was a terrible swell last night, and boat was pitching and rolling. I moved bed twice, trying to get a better spot and wedging myself in with pillows and cushions. But so I'm 270 miles, nautical miles, from Portimao today. So that today is Sunday morning. So Sunday, Monday, yeah, Tuesday. There's a big weather system coming from the north on Tuesday. I'd love to be in before that. There's quite strong winds running down the Portuguese coast, the Spanish West Spain and Portugal. Hopefully I'm in before that. And I have to cross the separation zone, so the traffic separation zone. So I'd like to be in before that too. So that's the update from Waxwing today. Another job done. That was easy, wasn't it? Oh, beautiful day. I'm tempted to shake out a reef out of the main. 18, 20 knots, hard to know. We're doing 6 knots already. Am I pushing it? We'll see. This is why I have handles that I said you'd rather be like a monkey. Because this is me standing upright now in the boat. Woo! So I'm just making coffee. And people ask, how do you stay fit? You stay fit because you're always working on the boat. Beautiful morning here. Light enough, well, moderate winds. You can tell by the way we're heeled. But all good on board. Cream dries. Handy. Nice for a snack. If you're lazy. And I'm lazy today. You know, it's no wonder. Sorry, my mouth's full. It's no wonder that people write books and get so philosophical. And I don't know. I don't know if it's because you're on your own, or that there's so little distraction. I mean, there's a lot of distraction, but it's not your usual distraction. I mean, you can look at the waves all day, and the sky is always magnificent. It's always changing. But you seem to dwell on your own thoughts a lot more here. And I don't know. It's lovely. I think that's why it's so important to do something like this, because you get, without sounding all weird and odd, but you do get to think about yourself and what you really, really want. Like the Spice Girls, you know. But tell me what you want, what you really, really want. The things that pop in my head, man, I swear to God. But honestly, you know, you can just sit here and you think, you know, yeah, I'd love to live in Tenerife. I'd love to live there. I'd love to do this and that. I just want to sail. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a beautiful, it's an unpolluted thought process, I suppose. That's what it is, because no TV, there's no radio, there's no nothing, you know, it's just you and your thoughts and nature and the sky. And I mean, look at it. If you were religious, I suppose you'd even see it as a telephone to the higher power, you know. You know, where you could talk and communicate with whoever your creator or whoever your, what religion you're into, if you're into something like that. But I mean, it's just a magnificent time. I love it. I just love coming up here to have a coffee or to eat, and especially on today, the swell is well down now. They're long, you know, easy managed swells. I don't like the short choppy ones where you bounce around a bit. So this is the big long Atlantic swell, and that has even dissipated well. I mean, it's nothing like it was. You just see them, they come up, and you just gently roll over them. You hardly even feel them on the boat. There's one now, we just went over it and woo! And it gives you a nice push. You can see that there's one now. I suppose it's therapeutic in ways. I don't know, it's very hard to explain, but anyone that sails offshore knows exactly what I mean. Here's the big one. But Waxwing just glides over it and gives you a nice bit of speed then as you surf down the other side of it. There we go again. But it's definitely so good for the soul and for the body and for the mind, just to sit and not stress out over things, just think about things that you wouldn't have time maybe to think about at home. I don't know. Again, I say it's hard to explain, but it's a beautiful place to sit and think. You know. Anyway, back to my handy dinner. As I said, you could sit here all day, and I suppose I've been here an hour now. And as I was saying, you can think about everything and think about all the, I don't know, just life in general. I hadn't expected to be sailing back this way until next year. And you know, I'm okay. I said that already. I'm okay with it. I'm looking forward to getting home, and you know, I miss my family. I knew I'd be away for the bones of a year, but now that I'm going back, you know, it'd be lovely to get back and see Kathy and see my kids and my grandchildren, and then I'll be looking forward and planning throughout the winter about getting Waxwing back, and that'll be a nice sail across Biscay. You know, it'll be a nice trip, and getting back to places that I miss. I love Kilrush. I miss Dingle. One of my favourite places on earth is Valentia Island. If you haven't been there, go there and have a look at all the people there. Everything about Valentia Island, I love it. I spend most of my time there with Waxwing. It's where I met Kathy, believe it or not, in Valentia Island. It's an island off, if you don't know, an island off the southwest tip of Ireland, basically. It's beautiful, unspoiled, lovely, friendly, not too touristy, but yet it's lovely and welcoming. So things like that are going through my head as I sit here. And I've lovely friends there as well that I miss, you know. Then I suppose reality kicks in, and that I have to go home and get a job and start earning money again and pay for all this. I think if I sit here any longer, I'm going to get dunked. The waves are getting steep. But, you know, I got to go back and start earning and pay off. I borrowed quite a lot of money from any institution that was giving it, thinking that I had like 8 months before I'd get back. But anyway, that's life. And you know what? It was a huge experience, a fantastic experience. I mean, you saw me in some of the videos. I was heartbroken. I was gutted, like what had happened. I'm over that, and you know. I firmly believe, and most of you said it as well, things happen for a reason. You know, maybe it just wasn't meant to be this time. But, and that's okay too. I've got over it because I learned. I love learning, and I learned a lot. I really did learn a lot from this. One of the things that I definitely took from this, I deliver boats for a living. I've delivered, I don't know, Benetos, Genos, Calfortis, all different types of boats. Not one of them has ever compared to Waxwing and how she behaves at sea. It's not an ad for rivals, or it's not I've no benefit from any kind for saying that, only that I believe it firmly. She's an incredible sea boat, and I don't push her really, really hard because I'm not racing. But if I do push her, she'll do 10 knots. In the right conditions, she'll do 10 knots. I mean, that's good for a big displacement hull like this. And not a bother to her, you know what I mean? She's a comfortable motion. What are we in today? I suppose it's force 5. I mean, she's just tipping along. There's no slamming in the hull because she's got a lovely underwater profile. You know, she doesn't have a flat bow like some of the modern boats, and you know, she's or a counter stern or a sugar scoop. So anyway, I'm ranting. That's what I'd be thinking about when I'm sitting here, watching the world go by. Here's one now. Nah, that's small. Yeah. Big shower coming. Wind is up, swell is up. Could be an interesting night. All the signals are there. Temperature has dropped. You can see the front, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Anyway, push us faster to Portugal. Could be a good bit of rain with that as well, I would think. Just entering the traffic separation zone off Cabo St. Vincent. Ominous looking sky, but the seas are fine and the wind is okay. It's like 15, 18 knots, but it's a flat sea, just with a roll, which is lovely. Big long swells, but there's a lot of wind forecast later from the northwest. You can see it in the sky probably. So I can see ships already, look. So hope to be into Portimao tomorrow, early enough, I'm sure, before lunch probably. all going well. If this wind, this forecast happens, we should fly in. It's northeast at the moment, which is not helping a whole pile, but anyway, it's okay. So nice. So let the games commence. So I gotta get through this lane first, which is okay because that guy is way up there. This one will be gone through by the time I get the second one. I'm not sure about him. I don't have to worry about anything else then because I'll be a couple of hours by the time I get that far. It's 6 hours to go from one side of it to the other. You can't see, yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes south and 3 north. Oh no, 2 north and then 1 south again. So tricky, but at least it's daylight, thank God. Okay, so we've been through the first lane, no problems. This guy will not be a problem because obviously, you know, this guy, the CPA is pretty small, 0.4 of a nautical mile, 400 meters or roughly. So that's okay. Now, interestingly enough, when you see it here, it's different, but at night time that can be stressful. But in daytime, it's so much easier because I can actually put an eyeball, I can see him. So wait and I zoom in. He's a big, long, low tanker, I'd say. Wait and I stand up. See him? Right there. So that's excellent. So all I have to do is aim for the back of him and all good. And actually I just got back in and this seems to disagree, but I'll slow down and I'll just slip along behind him. I'll call him on the radio now and tell him that. Another vital piece of kit for crossing the traffic separation zones is snacks. You have this, and you have your Pringles, and plenty of goodies because you're going to be sitting here for 6 hours. So, kettle on, biscuits, muy importante. So unusual, but this guy wouldn't answer me on the radio. I'm going behind him anyway, but. Okay, so that's good. So we're easily behind him. By the time we get to him, we'll just, oops. By the time we get to him, we'll slip right behind him. And worry about the next one. Traffic separation zone behind me, thank God. You can still see the ships. That's a crazy looking sky out there. There was really strong northwest, not really strong, 4, 6 or 7, I think, forecast that didn't come. Isn't that a beautiful sky? Anyway, I'm glad it didn't come. It would have been nice to get a bit of wind the last 30 or 40 miles. I don't want to have the engine on, but I have to. This is Cabo St. Vincent, if I pronounced that correctly or not, I'm not sure. And then the coastline of Portugal up as far as Portimao, 35 nautical miles ahead of us. So I'll be there by 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. I'll probably anchor. Unless if the wind is calm, I'll go into the marina in the dark. I'm not sure. I haven't been in the marina before. Anyway, so all's well that ends well. That was a lovely passage from Tenerife. I got good weather. I got a mix of weather actually, but I can't complain. I think I'm doing well to be in tonight though. I've seen skies like that before, have you? It's beautiful, but it's a bit spooky. Beautiful morning, Portimao. I'm up early to get the boat into the marina. I got up nice and early as there was no wind forecast, so pulled the anchor and headed into the marina. I'd already been allocated a berth, so it was all, I rowed ashore the day before, so all set up, so perfect morning for it, and a beautiful anchorage for the night. So that was a great trip. All went according to plan, all went well. Tied up now in Portimao. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. Next week I'll be taking off all the sails, halyards, and kind of preparing the boat for winter, so there'll be plenty to see and do in that. So thank you everybody for all the lovely comments. Please like if you can, and subscribe, and click the bell, and those things, they really help. Okay, so thank you. Have a great weekend.